Greetings, everyone. How are we doing today? John Fitch is spry and he's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah,
Dang, look at him.
let's
Oh
do
my
it.
God.
Yeah.
This is the most excited I've ever seen
Jack.
John Fitch. It's crazy.
Well rested.
Well rested, huh?
Yeah, pretty well rested.
I did a little IR sauna action before coming in here. Dude, I did not know. I just checked out your blog the other day because I was looking to get those supplements that you recommend for like digestion and all that shit.
Mm.
And then I saw that you had a fucking IR sauna blog post.
Yep.
Didn't even know that you're about it. I was like, man, this is fucking
Yeah.
like crazy.
I used it to cut weight a couple times.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you don't actually own one, or you do own one?
No,
but
I
it's
do.
kinda
I
like
do own one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just packed away or something.
It's in the garage. I'm looking at it now. It's still wrapped up from when I went to New York and made weight this past summer.
So you only strictly use it for cutting weight?
I've used it a few times here and there. I've been so I don't know. I'm like I feel like I'm nonstop doing stuff.
Yeah.
Lately.
Well, you do have kids.
Yeah, that takes up a good deal of time.
Yeah,
especially
I believe that.
I'm daddy daycare, so I'd rather instead of putting them in daycare, I pick them up from school.
Right. Yeah. No, I
hang out with
100% agree with that.
Yeah, so like even the days that I don't have them, so I just sacrifice to pick them up, so a little extra time. But yeah, it's exhausting.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I still
everything done. So, yeah.
I just use that. I use that IR sauna for me personally, just to. The reason why I got it was, obviously to like ward off injuries, muscle soreness, and so forth. I'm only sitting in there for like maximum like 20 minutes ish. I mean, I think the most I did was like 30 minutes. And then every once in a while, I'll throw some like sweet sweat on too if I'm trying to like sweat it out or whatever and cleanse it out. But yeah, I just got some of those supplements in that you recommended. I'm really looking forward to fuck, what the hell's the name of it? It begins with a W, I believe. Yeah, Wobenzyme.
Wobenzyme. Yeah.
Do you notice anything pretty crazy with that?
I'm terrible with taking those because there's a gap in between when you're supposed to eat. When you eat or whatever, you're supposed to kind of
the 45 minutes beforehand, right?
Yeah. So like I'm always like, oh, I forgot again.
Yeah. That's my biggest concern. So I'm probably only gonna like, I don't know.
Maybe set a timer or something.
True. One thing I do notice,
technology around us, like there's no reason not to
for sure
have something like tell you to take a pill.
I mean, one thing I do know about supplements, and this is a little bit of a misnomer too, though, but usually, I mean, that's a pretty expensive supplement, which
it is. And that's what usually, if it was Phil Baroni, it was like always preaching about it and yelling at me.
Yeah.
To use those. And Phil knows his he knows his shit when it comes to like the body and biology.
That's where I'm going with that is whenever I see something that's that expensive and it's not like a marketed, you know what I mean? Like it's not like a name brand.
It's like somebody was telling me it's like in Germany, it's like the Advil, like or the whatever, the ibuprofen. They would take that instead when they were sore.
Oh, that's cool.
Like it's
I'm excited to I'm excited to test that.
But
yeah, who knows?
I was told that.
We got a couple people up in the chat. If you guys don't mind, please do give this show a like. Also, love to hear some comments and some questions. I'm gonna head right into what is kind of on the top of my mind today, and it's this: the Twitter storm lately of people going out and talking about pornography. And how many people are standing at the pulpit and fighting on this fucking mountaintop of pornography being the devil now and pornography being bad. And even so much so that we have people like Roosh V who is saying that pornography now and not watching pornography is the rite of passage for men in today's world. What are your thoughts on that?
What do you mean, like giving it up?
Yeah, Roosh V said exactly this. I'm trying to pull it up myself right now, just to view it, because one guy.
I mean, I wouldn't know if it's that dramatic, you know, but it is. I think it is like a realization. It come to a certain age, you have to, that it's just like it's just a waste.
What's this?
Porn.
Okay.
You know, it's a lot of easy access
to
sex, and yeah, like I don't know. I think I've watched way too much porn in the past for sure.
Right. All right. So yeah, we'll get into this. But let me
like back like so like when I was back in college, like you had to have a VHS. There weren't even DVDs out yet.
Right, for sure.
So guys would steal VHSs from each other. So like it was like a mission to get the porn, and then chances are somebody would steal it when you weren't looking. So like you didn't always have it. So like the easy access now, like the kid, second he's got an iPad, like he's potentially got access to unlimited, like wild, crazy porn.
Sure. I think the point, because we're going to get more and more into the porn thing here in a second, but I guess my question to you was this. It was, what's your thoughts on someone going out and saying that that's the rite of passage today, is quitting porn and not watching porn for men?
I wouldn't know if the rite of passage, maybe it's a part of growing up, I think.
Yeah.
I think I think being able to put away any overindulgent thing is an aspect of growing up.
Right.
Like you're also an adult, and you have access to all the candy you want to. You can walk into the candy store and buy anything.
Right.
You can eat it until you die.
Right.
Like you have that option. That's legal. You could go and do that. But you are an adult. So like you're able to say, you know what? I think I'm okay on candy right now. And I think that's where it stems at. We live in an age of instant gratification, and no one's ever told no about anything.
Yeah. And it's overly decadent too.
You're when you start
fucking taking
bad. It's like, oh, it's okay that you're that way.
Right. When you start taking donuts and turning it into a sandwich for your hamburger, I think we've kind of found the edge there of our overindulgence and decadence. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean, even that, if you did that, once a year, like, oh, that one time we went to the fair, and I had a bite of that donut hamburger. Okay, but like if that's like your Tuesday,
for sure. No, and listen, I agree. So here's where I am with that, though. I agree with you. Because again, most of my beliefs are steeped in a libertarian form. But let's get back to the quitting porn as a rite of passage thing, because I just want to read this. This is what Roosh V posted the other day. This isn't his. He got this off of fucking 4chan, or I don't know. It says, quitting porn is the rite of passage for the modern young man. Ironically, it's probably one of the hardest rites of passage of any society ever. Theirs were mostly physical or mental: hunting solo for the first time, fighting a battle, making an artisan peace, passing hard exams. Now our rite of passage is spiritual, defeating the beast within our very selves. To endure and turn away from the most temptation ever offered, endless amounts of freely available HD hardcore pornography. From learning to defeat the deepest darkness, we will climb higher than any of our forefathers.
No, it's not comparable. It's not comparable.
Thank you.
It's not comparable. You're silly.
I agree.
There's other things. There's opium. There was alcohol. There's heroin. There's all kinds of amazing things.
There are whorehouses all over the fucking, like, men after a hard day's work, instead of being at home, would go to whorehouses and drink with fucking whores and bang whores constantly. You know what I mean? Like, and they'd spend all of their fucking money that they earned banging whores. Like, this isn't new, right? People, there's always been some form or way of pornography, like to the point where it was actually people watching shows in public or in, whatever, of people having sex. Like this is the oldest, in a way, profession, so to speak, right? Aside from, no kidding, prostitution. Here's where my take is on this, though.
Yeah, they're being a little over dramatic about it.
Well, it's the Christian right now that's doing this. They need a battle. They need a molehill to die on, I guess, not a mountain. They need they're looking for a mountain to die on. And that's kind of their big thing right now, is this whole porn thing, right? Roosh V himself is trying to go back to his Orthodox roots and all this other stuff, and he's becoming like a major talking piece for, the traditional, for the trad cons. All these other guys are sitting there saying, oh, porn is bad. And actually what people are coming out and saying is like porn is the devil. Like that's what everyone's kind of trying to put it down as, right? And I posted something.
Overindulging in anything, whether it's porn or potato chips, like get over it. Like you don't need it.
Right.
It's clogging up your life.
Right. Yeah. Anytime something, and I've gone red elephants too. All right, buddy. If you want to expound upon red elephants, that'd be amazing. Fuck, I lost it. Oh yeah. There we go. I posted something else up, and that's what I talked about earlier. I talked about worship. Anytime you worship something, you remove your power from it. Like you lower yourself down to be subjected by it, right? And that's pretty much what an addiction is, so to speak. Okay. So anytime you put something in place of that has control over you, you aren't in control, plain and simple. It's a form of worship. And all it takes is just for you to change your perspective on things in order for you to regain that. It's kind of like jujitsu, right? When something's putting a lot of pressure on you, you could sit there and you can continue to get smashed by it, right? And you could sit there and feel like a victim or whatever, or you could sit there in that time frame and you could figure out a way to get out of there. There's always a way to get out of every move, right? And that's kind of how I like to look at a lot of this stuff is, everyone sits here, and this is, I guess, the next direction I want to go because it's being brought up in the chat too as well. The porn ban. People are like, ban porn. It's the devil, all this other stuff. Well, here's the thing, guys. And this is going back to like what I'm saying. Whenever people in our society right now are feeling
authoritarianism, I'm not a fan of like telling people what to do. You can't. No banning anything. Just
Look at any time something has been banned in our history. Look at any type of prohibition that is put out there. You statistically shows that people become 3 times more addicted to whatever they fucking ban than beforehand, right? Alcoholism wasn't that big of an issue in America until after prohibition. And then after that, it normalized everyday use of alcohol. It's crazy. Yeah, not a fan of it. Instead, and here's where we need to go. We do not need any type of central authority in our lives to sit here and tell us what is bad for us and then say it needs to be removed. Instead, this needs to be a personal fight. You need to have the discipline to be able to say, this has control over me, and I need to figure out a way how to regain the control over it. And that's the jujitsu kind of analogy I was using with it. Everyone else is sitting there like saying, oh my God, look at how terrible this is. Everyone's a victim and think of the kids. It's like, no, figure out a way to figure out a way so that it doesn't become an issue in your life.
Extension of the illusion of control.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that.
The illusion of order. There is no order. We're naked monkeys flying on a ball covered in water and filled with
fucking flying through space.
Yeah,
10,000 miles an hour.
There's no order.
There's no order.
They're trying to ban shit. Come on.
Yeah.
Get real.
Get fucking real, people.
It's silly.
We're monkeys.
Why are we arguing about this? Don't watch. You don't have to watch.
Exactly.
Tell other people it's been not good to watch and then leave it alone.
Now, the biggest case that people are making, and they're saying, you know what? Yeah, Corey, I get it. Adults, they can have their own discipline. But the biggest fight that we're pushing against right now is the accessibility of it to children.
Yeah.
Kids should not have access to this. Now, I remember kind of like what you're talking about. I remember watching porn for the first time. I think I was like 10 years old or something like that. I was hanging out with my buddies after school. Parents weren't home yet, and my buddies, like, my dad has a porn VHS, right? A porn tape. And we're like, no way, cool.
14 before I ever saw a porno.
Right.
13,
And
14.
it wasn't easy to come by. It was super scary, right? The thing about VHS, for those of you guys that are out there too, we had to remember the exact spot that it was at, because then we had to rewind it back to it so that we wouldn't get caught, right? And it had to go and get put in the exact same spot, and we had to make it look like no one was there or any of this other stuff. Like, it was a good amount of work, and there's a lot of risk too, which I think is good, right? You're never going to hide this stuff 100% from kids, right? Because kids are just fucking, they're adults in training, right? They have the same kind of things that are going on in our brain today. We just try to forget that we had that kind of stuff when we were kids. You know what I mean? But I will agree with people when they say, porn is way, way, way too accessible to kids today. I agree with you. So what do you need to do?
Well,
what do you need to do?
Technology is way too accessible to kids today.
I agree. So you're heading down the road where I'm heading too, because I have the solutions. I have solutions, but people don't like hearing them. And all it comes down to is just being a fucking parent. What's that?
What are the solutions?
Well, I don't think kids under the age of 18 should have a smartphone, first and foremost. I don't think parents.
Yeah, they could probably get away with a flip phone.
Yeah, 100%. If you need a communication, they don't need to be fucking texting people constantly. They don't need to have 100% access to all the information on the world, right? Fuck, dude. I mean, I don't know how many kids are, like, especially with those cameras on those phones, I don't know how many girls are sitting there fucking sending nudes at, 10, 12, 13, 15. All they're doing is sitting on fucking Snapchat the entire time. I try to have conversations with, like, these kids, fucking high school, even like 18 to 22, at like family gatherings or something like that. And the entire time they're sitting there and they're just taking a photo and then they're typing for fucking Snapchat or whatever, right? It's like, that's not how people communicate. This isn't how people communicate. Like, there needs to be a baseline at this point in time where here's a traditional standard. It's like, all right, so I was in the Marine Corps, right? And when we went through boot camp, we had to train to fire our weapon with iron sights, right? The sights that come strictly on that weapon. Mm-hmm. No scope, no nothing, right? And you had to learn how to hit a silhouette target at 500 yards with a M4 or a M16 or whatever, right? 500 yards, 5.56 iron sights. I'll wait till you're done there. Why is that? Because when you go through a basic level of training, you should be trained at the lowest common denominator. Why? Because that's your foundation. If all else fails, you at least have this knowledge and you have this skill and you can learn that you're proficient with it. Then I believe in like 2010, they're like, fuck it. We're going to just throw ACOGs on all of these rifles and everyone's going to learn how to shoot the rifle with an ACOG. So they don't learn how to shoot iron sights. It's the same thing we're doing right now with kids with iPhones and computers and all this stuff. We're not training them at a base level, right? We're not training them, hey, if this thing fucking fell in the water, right? Or whatever, like, you can still go about living life. Like, because to them today, this thing is life. They have access to everything. Oh, I want to go on a date. Okay, Tinder, Bumble, whatever. Oh, I want attention. All right, Instagram, all this other stuff, right?
Food, they got Uber Eats.
It's fucking insane, isn't it?
Yeah, everything.
I don't have any of those things on my fucking phone. I was telling people at Thanksgiving, they're like, oh, we could Postmates that. I'm like, what's Postmates? They're like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what Postmates is. They're like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, yeah, is it? I mean, I know it's like a delivery service.
Everybody was posting their like Spotify top 5 or something.
What is that?
I don't know.
Why are they posting that?
It's like a music, some kind of music app or something.
Spotify's a music app, but I didn't know. Yeah. Like, I don't pay for it, so I don't know any of this shit.
Yeah, I don't know. So it was like, yeah, the top 5 songs for the season or the year.
Brap says, here, I'll show it. Steve Jobs didn't allow his kids to have an iPad. Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, it doesn't mean it's the devil, right? This is the biggest thing that people, they'll listen to my words and they'll sit there and they'll be like, oh, look at this guy.
Like, it kills creativity. That's one of the things. Like, I force my kids sometimes just to, like, no electronics. You guys just play, grab your toys, play.
I would even say this in where I'm going with my book too, Future Society. It would be, I would even say that we as adults are still also overindulging the use of the internet, right? And this might sound a little bit authoritarian, but the other downfall is too with the internet and stuff like that. We are inundated with advertisements. The average human being sees over 30,000 advertisements a day, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one aspect. The second thing is this.
Make sure to go to johnfitch.net. Sign up for my newsletter.
Sign up for his newsletter. It's good. It's a good newsletter. But I would essentially what I would do is it was kind of like what happened when I was in the military. They would throttle down the internet and only allow certain sites to be used during like work hours. And then after work hours, it would open up.
No, you can't restrict people's access to the internet.
Why is that?
It's not freedom. It's just not. It's anti-American.
Well, during a certain time frame, you have all the freedom in the world. It's just throttling.
I'm all for.
It's like a ration rather than.
I'm all for letting the weak succumb to their weaknesses, so that when I work hard, I get twice as far.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. So
it does make sense.
We're a hierarchical organism. It's okay for us to work hard to be great. If other people don't want to follow that lead, that's up to them.
I feel it.
So if they want to overuse the internet and consume, fine. I'll create products that they can pay for and they'll enjoy and can consume.
John Collins brings up a good point. Pretty much what you just said there in a way. Well, that's how I would kind of do business, because I guess essentially, even if my kingdom is just my household, that's how it would be for my kids. Like I said, no smartphone until you're fucking 18 and out of the house. Internet access would only be used for a certain amount of things, right? Until kind of like the point system.
They're going to be implants by the time you have kids. They're not going to be cell phones. They'll just be an implant.
Oh no, that's not happening.
They'll give it with the vaccines.
Oh,
here's your vaccines and your implant.
And here's your phone. Yeah, here's your implant phone or whatever.
Well, you can track your kid wherever they go.
Oh.
So can we.
Not a fan. Not a fan of that level right there at all. There's fucking actually idiots out there right now too that are getting implants into their arm so that they can like have access to their office and buy things and from a vending machine, and they're proud of it. It's like
it's their keys, their car, their apartment, like different things can be like you could wear it as a necklace. Like why does it have to be in your skin?
The next thing you know, you're trying to go and fly off to fucking Miami or Europe, and they say, oh, you can't go because you forgot to pay your taxes this year.
Yeah, well, they're already doing that in China. They have the social scoring system, scoring credit, whatever. So if you say something bad against the government, you won't be able to fly anywhere for a while.
TJ asked this question. He says, Corey, I saw a commercial yesterday on ESPN where they had a military vet with one arm, burnt skin, one eye. Then they had a woman military vet who had PTSD. Why were the two compared? There's a tremendous push in the world today to make women and men equal. And the thing is, and facts have been shown that women and men in the military are not equal. There is not an equal distribution of effort or anything being put into it. It's also why military sexual trauma is being promoted as the female Purple Heart type of thing, if that makes sense. Women are pretty much taught in boot camp to claim military sexual trauma in any type of situation. I hate to be this guy to come out and say it so boldly, but a lot of it is bullshit. A lot of the statistics are made up. And it's a means to try to make it so that women in the military get some kind of compensation. When you get out of the military, put in a claim for any type of disability and you get a paycheck for the rest of your life, based off of your percentage of disability. And military sexual trauma scores super high. And that's kind of the only way that women in the military are going to get any type of compensation. So they take 100% full benefit from that. And then they claim PTSD along with it, get 100%. And then you get a $3,100 paycheck for the rest of your life every month. So it's a scam. It's a scam. The other thing is when people see those images, right? So they show a guy who has one arm, burnt skin, one eye, and then they show a woman next to him and they say that she also has PTSD. Your brain is already drawing a connection, right? That guy went to war and he saw all these things.
It's the same.
Then your brain automatically assumes that she was also in combat and that's what she got her PTSD from. Exactly. So it's a means to kind of not usurp, but it's subliminal messaging is really what it comes down to. It's, still this big push to put women on the front lines, which I don't know if you guys listen to War Story Sunday. That'll be tonight at 5 p.m. I'm going to probably next week be talking about a situation where they tried to force women on our patrol. And it's just it's a fucking absolute shit show. The United States Marine Corps 2 or 3 years back did a full-blown study of integrating women into infantry platoons, and it was a complete and utter failure. Yet the Secretary of the Navy, which I believe actually ended up just resigning because of the Gallagher thing, something like that, pushed it forward anyway and made it so that the Marine Corps had to integrate women into. So regardless of facts, regardless of proper warfighting function, regardless of the proper statistics, this progressive worldview will be pushed down the throats of people. Literally, like it will be open up and fucking take it because we are on positions of authority, and it's what we want. It's not what is best; it's what we want. And unfortunately, I have my beliefs as to why. I think that that's they're purposefully trying to weaken our military. Because honestly, we're the best. We have the best military in the world. They're purposely trying to weaken our military, though. Because I think America is kind of being sold out from underneath us. And it's, if you look at like these major corporations and a lot of these people, you look at China is buying up a lot of land and property here in the United States. They have a big stake in Hollywood right now. I believe that the whole Hillary Clinton Benghazi thing too had a lot of ties to China and selling out the interests to them and to other key areas. So this ties into a lot of stuff. John Collins says, in a woman's eyes, those two soldiers are equal. Both lost their weapons. Men lost their arm strength. Women got raped, lost the pussy power. That's pretty smart. When it is their only weapon, they cling to it and they use it all the time, every time. Well, the downfall is this too, John, is even if the perception is there that this is what happens to women, then they have an argument, right? They get to paint the picture. This happens all the time. Women are having this. And I forgot whose podcast I went on or who I was talking to when this happened. But when I was in the military, there were 2 sexual assault investigations that I was a part of. I wasn't the main focus of it, but I was a witness, so to speak, right? And then, obviously I knew a bunch of other guys too that were kind of being taken down by these sexual assault claims. Anytime there was a sexual assault claim, because it's really easy to throw an allegation out there. And the thing you have to understand about the military is we also operate under the UCMJ. So it's a completely different judicial system. Now, NCIS has to come out and they have to investigate every single claim that's made. Right? Because what happens is a claim is made, it goes to the duty officer logs it, and then he calls up NCIS. So like everything is instantaneous. It happens, right? Next thing you know, NCIS comes in with their entire fucking kit. They like locked off my room, right? For the first one, they locked off my room. And I guess I'll give a little tidbit as to what happened there. I was like I was like the man, right? My room was like the party room. We kind of like lived in dorms in Okinawa. And obviously I was a pretty, kind of like how I am today. Like I'm a good looking dude that was pretty good with the ladies. And there was this one girl, she's a Marine. She lived across the hall. She'd always been interested in me and all this other stuff, but she just recently broke up with her boyfriend. And she had the game plan of waiting for me to come home from partying, and then we were going to proceed with some events, right? Now, of course, like I said, my door's unlocked. Everyone kind of goes into my room and like hangs out and does whatever and parties and all this other shit. And I'm out partying down the street or whatever. And apparently what had happened was around midnight, like she was laying in my bed or something like that. And another dude comes in drunk, and he like walks up to my bed and he's trying to find me, and he like shakes her. And he's like, hey. And then he realizes it's her, and he's drunk and she's drunk. And I guess like he tries to make a move on her, right? And all of a sudden she just starts screaming rape. She realizes it's not me, and she starts screaming rape at the top of her lungs, right? So it's not rape. It's not sexual assault in any way, shape, or form. Like he made a move, right? Of course, an unwanted move by the unwanted guy, but in her mind, that was rape. Duty comes up. Obviously, now he has to call up NCIS and all this other shit. So I come back at like 2 a.m, and NCIS has my fucking door like taped off, right? And I'm not allowed to go in my room. They're taking all my stuff. They take my blankets. They're testing everything. They're swabbing me and doing all this other shit. They're like, now we know that you weren't here, so you're not really a part of this Anyway, long story short, it wasn't fucking rape. It wasn't fucking sexual assault. It was just a bad attempt. It was a bad attempt at trying to have sex, right? Or a bad attempt at making a move.
That's pretty
so
bad.
That wasn't real.
It's a pretty bad attempt.
I agree. Hey, listen, I am
awful.
not.
That's pretty.
He like
his
attempt
drunk
was
girl in a bed.
Right. He's like, I mean, I get it though. Like,
go for it.
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, think about it from a fucking dumb perspective though. It's like, we're 90%. Yeah, exactly.
How you doing?
We're like 90% of the way there. Like, I gotta go the extra 10%. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, bad case. That one was whatever, but it wasn't sexual assault. Like, you're not traumatized for the rest of your life because some guy made a bad fucking pass at you, like, plain and simple. But the other ones were fucking really bad. It was like girls that were cheating on their husbands, and because they got caught cheating, they instead claimed rape. And that happens about 90% of the time. I'm not going to lie. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on, is these made up statistics are being put out there. Women are kind of, John, we had these conversations earlier in the year in our podcast where whenever a woman is guilty, we always instinctually, like our judicial systems and stuff like that, always try to get them, like give them the benefit of the doubt.
Always want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Give them the benefit of the doubt, and then we give them a way. We not just benefit of the doubt, but then we give them the way out as well. Like, oh yeah, we get it. Like let's ask the question, why were you in this guy's bed at fucking midnight, laying there waiting? Like, what were you doing there? But no one will ask that question. No one will assume that it was nefarious, because we men are not allowed to presume the sexual whatever proclivity. Yeah, was that the right word? Proclivities of a female, or else, we are not gentlemanly, right? It's like you can't take into consideration. Yeah, exactly.
How dare you?
So anyway, yeah, that shit happens so many times. It's such a fucking joke. One thing I want to get into as well is this, going back to the whole porn thing, because I'm being attacked by this one fucking crazy chick. I think she's Russian or something like that.
She makes a lot of porn or something.
She doesn't make a lot of porn. She's Christian, and she's getting mad at me for saying the things I say about porn.
Well, porn threatens. It's a threat to a lot of women. There's some intersexual competition in between them and the porn. So there's this extra added hate from a lot of the women for it there.
My response back to her was simply this: you are trying to make it so that you have 100% control over your man's sexual selection.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does, when you're able to guilt a man into believing that I am the only one you can have sex with and you can't have, and you have to avert your eyes from any other woman and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you give one woman, that supreme authority over you, guess what is going to happen with your sex life? And guess what's going to happen with her fucking responsibility of the relationship? And what's going to happen to her looks? What's going to happen to the amount of effort she puts into the relationship? It tanks. This is this is what we're seeing. We're seeing the most gigantic shit test ever fucking placed on the human species. It is women telling men, we do not want to have any standards placed on us. And anytime any type of competition is put in our place, we're going to guilt and shame you into believing something, right? And what's the ultimate tool? This is why I can't stand religion. This is why I cannot stand religion, because religion is a phony baloney made up fucking story in order to control you with fear, guilt, and shame. No, I'm serious. Like, okay, cool. Maybe fucking Jesus was the fucking son of God and all this stuff. But either way, let's long story short it. This religion that was created based off of it is a fucking tool for control. And it's a way to fucking turn men into little fucking beta bitches so they're easy to control and manipulate. And we've escalated women up to positions of fucking higher authority. What are your thoughts?
I think that a lot of religion is been manipulated by people for control purposes over the years. I think if you get down to some of the basic stories, they're basically just stories about human nature that guide you along the way. But when you start getting into the dogmatic controls of the Catholic Church in the Stone Age or the Dark Ages, you know, and some of the evangelical, what is that? How do you evangelical types, the Bible thumpers sometimes they get a little bit too literal with some of their readings of the good books.
Yeah, they bring it all the way to the other end of the spectrum. Mm-hmm. Last week it was the feminists killing me for fucking saying shit about how women should behave. Now I bring up porn, I'm getting all these fucking crazy trad cons that are like super far right with this religion telling me that I'm the fucking devil and stuff like that. It's like, people, you need to stop living on the fucking extreme edges of things and start looking at things from a practical fucking sense, right? Mm-hmm. Understand fucking evil, understand biology, understand that we're human.
Like if you really need porn that bad, make your own.
I like it.
That's the answer.
Here's a question for you.
Your girl to put something together.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Ryan Stone was saying that. Like, he doesn't know any men. He doesn't know any men addicted to porn that have abundance in their sex life.
Yeah.
Anyway, can you see the question on the screen? This is directed at you, buddy.
I haven't noticed Stefan Molyneux's views shift at all. I don't know. I don't listen to him a ton. There's usually a bit of truth that cuts at whatever the basis is that he's saying. But I mean, he's definitely got a point. There is a lot of shit that's happened because of weak men. I mean, that's just how it is.
TJ, I'm guessing that you you must have watched Party of One's dissection of Stefan Molyneux and what happened lately. Is that correct? Because that's a pretty good question. It kind of comes directly from Party of One. I had him on the air the other day. It was a really good podcast. Essentially what's going on here, John, is this. Stefan recently came out and what he did essentially was he said that the top 10% of men, because they have the prime sexual selection, because they're not settling down with women, it's making women more hypergamous and wanting to openly have sex because they're using it as a strategy to be able to like lure in those top 10% of men. So it's the top 10% of men's responsibility to go and get married And that's what will essentially stop open hypergamy in today's Western society. That's his belief. That's what he's saying.
I mean, yeah, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I mean,
John's not buying it.
I don't think that. Yeah, the top 10% of men not getting married. I don't think that's an answer to anything. I mean, you see the age group of women, the 20 to 30-year-old women are doing better out of that age group of people, right? So those women are doing better than men at that time. So there's less chance of them getting married. So they're not getting married in their prime years. So when they do start looking to settle down and get married, it's towards the wall or after the wall. So then yeah, maybe their hypergamy is hyperactive because they're on a sinking ship. But I don't think that there's any. I don't know. I think a lot of these guys think they can still stuff something back in the bottle, the genie back in the bottle, and I don't think you can. I think the way things are set up, the way the government is, the way technology and jobs are, like women do not need men to survive. They're going to be earning more than men on average in the next 20 years. I mean, that's just the way it is. So unless women are able to get a hold of their hypergamy willingly and not care what the income of a guy is, which I don't see that happening too much, or I don't know. I don't know what drastic could happen, but I don't think going back and just oh yeah, everybody just double down and keep getting married, and that's the answer.
Yeah, I agree with you there too, John. I think again, what it comes down to is this: most of these tradcons and most of these boomers, they feel very, very awkward placing standards on women. Essentially, the answer is this: if you want to close off open hypergamy, is this: we need to guilt and shame women back into keeping themselves as chaste as possible until they find a fucking husband. And they need to find a husband between the ages of 18 to 26. Listen, but what I'm just promoting solutions. I'm just promoting solutions.
Well,
I'm not telling.
there's no way. Yeah, again, I don't think it's. You can't. You can't control. You can't control the feminine mystique. It's. Man, I think it's like the ocean, right? It's like riding waves in the ocean. You can't control the waves. You can't be like, oh well, if we did this, the wave would look more like this. It's not going to happen. I think we have to just focus on what we can do to navigate the current right now. And in this current situation, you're going to have to look out for yourself, and you're going to have to put some money aside to raise kids, possibly by yourself. I don't know if there's a way to force anybody into any certain direction. I think we can just look at how things are going, observe how things are going, and then make the most of it for ourselves.
Yeah. I think we're going to see something change. The pendulum always swings, my man. I think we're heading back in a different direction. I also want to pull this one up real quick. Religion hits a core in most all humans. It's an instinctual thing. Again, you either are a consumer of it or you learn to control it, others through it, like the men who wrote the Bible. Yeah, I agree with that. There's something. Well, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of writing an allegory too. One thing I noticed in going to church is every week they would tell a story or they'd have a message, and the message was always delivered in a way where it would hit everyone at that moment in their life, where someone would walk away and be like, God is talking to me. Right. And that's the power of like telling a story allegorically.
It's things about human nature.
There's human truths in there. Exactly. Yes. There's truths in there.
It's just you're going to have the similar problems. That's why I think religion is a part of survival to me, right? Because I've talked about this all the time, but the unknown, right? Randomness, chaos, it's stressful, and it's not good. It's not healthy for you to be stressed. So you look for order in things. You want to try to create order. So religion is one of those things that helps give you order. Spirituality, mysticism, those are all things that help give you a sense of order in your world, which helps calm you down and helps prevent you from feeling anxiety. So I think that's where a lot of the religion and spirituality stuff comes from. It goes back to survival still.
Yeah, again, I mean, you look back at anything back in the day, whatever we couldn't control, we, associated to the gods. There's some external force out there that is pushing the direction of the way things go. So it's like, oh, we're in a drought. What do? Well, we'll sacrifice some goats and we'll do a dance. Oh, and then some rain happened. Cool. All right. Well, that pleased the gods. So therefore this, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're always, like I said, we are computational creatures. We have a series of inputs and outputs, and we're always playing with those things, right? It's logic. It's a logic gate. It's an either or type of thing, right? So that's really what it comes down to. Is we're just, again, going back to it, we're monkeys. We're monkeys on a fucking ball that's flying through space, and we're just trying to sit here and figure out how all that shit works. Mm-hmm. Fucking crazy. It's crazy. But the thing that it comes down to, though, is this, right? Well, and we talk about this often. Reproduce. Yes, sex. Like, it's such a weird fucking topic. Like these people that are such like Puritans and prudes, they fucking hate the idea of sex, but they fail to realize, like, holy crap, sex is completely 100% necessary for everything, right? And then they're like, oh, well, God doesn't like that, right? And the devil's the one that created fucking porn and all this shit. And it's like, well, didn't God create it? Like, if we really want to go into it, like, didn't God create it in a way?
Well, what the argument would be, why would the devil create something that would prevent men from having actual sex? Right?
Let's hear that.
So you should have a lot of sex with your man. See? Because that would be the more godly thing. It'd be the opposite.
But then you get these people like this Russian chick on my Twitter who's like a complete shrew.
Come on,
and all she's trying to do is not have sex because of this stuff. I can't read what you said, bitch. It's in Spanish.
No, whatever. No. See, that's the logic. You got to use logic. Hit him with the logic. So
yeah,
the devil doesn't want your man to have sex with you. So he provides porn. Then you should probably have a lot of sex with him.
Right. But they're not willing to do that because then that means that they have to put in work.
Well, then you're not. She's the one who's sinning. She's not being godly.
And that would be, and that. Well, and this is the other thing. Well, and this is the other. We understand this, that you cannot. What's it called? You cannot negotiate desire.
Nope.
And that's another reason why I get on Christianity big time. Is it's this belief system of, oh, we're going to get married young. You're going to be the only person I've ever slept with. You're going to be the only person I ever slept with. And, God says that you need to take care of me sexually. But when you're with this guy who's boring and bland and who has really no sexual experience, and he's just expecting you to like give him sex, like that's not how you have sex with women. You don't just point at her and say, hey, have sex with me. Or it's Wednesday at 8:30. Huh?
There's a grunt.
But if you already have some level of fucking what's it called? Seduction there. But it's not just like, oh, I bought you a ring and I bought you a house and I work 45 hours a week. Okay, it's 8:30. It's after MASH. It's now time for you to service your husband.
Boomer.
Yeah, right.
Okay, boomer.
Fucking boomer. I like that the reference.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not seduction. Like no woman that I know is gonna want to have sex with a guy like that, and they're gonna do everything in their power to not have sex with that guy because he sucks and he's boring and it's turned into a chore. And I think that's another thing that people are pushing back away from is it's like pornography shows you that like there's more to sex than just like having it. If that makes sense. There's so much involved. There's so many dynamics. I mean, shit, let's go back into it. The Kama Sutra has been around far longer than, the religion of Christianity. And they talk about that stuff. They talk about the different sexual positions and actually how it's a very spiritual thing and all this other stuff.
Spiritual release.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The Egyptians, they believed in a lot of stuff when it came to sex. The Ankh itself is a symbol of sexual energy, right? Yeah, I agree. Jeffrey Daughtry's channel breaks the fear, guilt, control matrix of religion down completely. Yeah, I'm down. Brap, I love that fucking icon too. That is awful. Oh my God, that kills me. I love that guy though. I really do. Fucking crazy maniac. Yeah, so you can't negotiate actual desire, right? You can't negotiate desire, period. And a lot of these guys are uncomfortable, and they're marrying women where it's like the first 6 months to a year, it probably fucking feels phenomenal, where it's like, all right, we're just having sex and it's the first time we've done it, and we've, given our lives to God, and God's going to lead us this direction. And then after a year, you're like, oh wow, this is boring and monotonous and vanilla, and I have the rest of my life to do this. And that's how I see people become cold and true. Like they dry up. They just fucking, like, life is boring. Man ends up just investing all of his time and energy into work. And then he comes home and he drinks a fucking finger of fucking scotch or whiskey or whatever. And that's how he deals with stuff. And he reads the newspaper or whatever. Well, not in today's world, but it's like 1950s America. And then the wife is just like, whatever, like just nagging him constantly, because that's her shit test, is like, is this guy gonna fucking just let me? She's trying to create some kind of emotional fucking spike in her day-to-day life, right? And that's what the nagging comes from, because she knows that her husband's not gonna fucking sexually seduce her or anything, and then he's also not gonna go out and cheat on her, so she doesn't have to compete. So it's like
women tease them, tease them.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Like, I got to be honest with you right now. I'm having probably the most sex I've ever had in my entire life. And it's because I've broken the mold completely and like good sex, because I have women that they know that there's other women in my life, and they've all agreed to be a part of my life. Right. Like I'm not manipulating them into my life whatsoever. Mm-hmm. They all agree that they want to be a part of this lifestyle. And, whenever we're together, right, she's like on her best fucking behavior, and she loves every second of it. Like, being with me is like the highlight, I guess. Not trying to like, hey, you know what? Actually, fuck it. I'll wear it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So it's all good times. They want to spend fucking all the time with me, but meh. Who this? Who you? Oh. What do you got going on in life, John? What's new? How's things going?
Well, I'll be leaving in a little while to head up to Sacramento tonight. I'll be, I think, at the Punchline Sacramento. We're gonna do a live taping of Fitch and Tinkle Smash Everything. I don't know if I don't think we're live streaming it, but we're probably gonna tape it, and then the audio will be available. But anybody who's in the area, come through. Starts at 5, I think. Doors open at 4. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. Anything else? You're still working on the books?
Yeah, I actually got my Wake Up book. My Wake Up book is pretty much done. I'm waiting on approval to get some pictures. Hopefully I can get some pictures approved to use from Bellator. If not, whatever. But yeah, it's a nice quick read. It should be available. I don't know when I'll have it available. Maybe Christmas, maybe New Year's, but soon.
Excellent. Oh shit! Did you watch any of the fights last night?
I watched a little bit of the Ruiz and Joshua after the 4th round. Kind of uneventful. Joshua just kind of jabbed him and hugged him.
Yeah.
But like, Ruiz came in like really fat, extra heavy. Like, why would you come in 16 pounds? I don't know, man. It's wild.
And how long has he been fighting for? Because one thing I notice is there's some people that, like, if they've been fighting for a long time, they're just like done with fucking weight cuts. Like, they just get burnt out with it all.
Say you're breaking up there.
Oh, I said, how long has he been fighting for? Because I noticed there's some guys out there that, like, when it comes to cutting weight, they're just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm done.
Oh well, no, he's a heavyweight.
Oh yeah.
So like he weighed in like at
Oh, he doesn't have to
283,
cut.
I think. Yeah, you didn't have to cut weight.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
What's the max for heavyweight? Isn't it
I don't
285 or do they
know.
not have
I don't know.
maxes?
There's a big huge heavyweight for a while. It was like 300 pounds.
Fuck. That's crazy. Modern Life, John sent me a picture. I forget who it was with his lip split open.
Oh yeah, Overeem.
Over him,
I
yeah.
thought I didn't even know there was a UFC. Like I thought there wasn't a UFC for a little while, but I guess I was mistaken. I don't know what happened, but yeah,
He got dropped on that though, right? That punch. Who was he fighting?
he got hit good and split his lip open pretty bad.
That was bad. That was like this part of his lip right here is just like fucking hanging down and like goes all the way up to his nose. It was pretty.
Yep.
You watch it just tear like slow mo. That punch just goo, bunch of goo. Not good. What was your worst? What was your worst injury?
I split my lip once pretty bad. It was gross. Yeah.
I had that happen once too. I got into a fucking street fight. I was drunk and being stupid. And I thought I was just back from Afghanistan. I was like this one kid was claiming that he was out there and I got all fucking emotional. Can't get emotional during fights.
Nope.
And he ended up popping me, fucking split the lip pretty good. Got a good scar there. Had to go get stitches. I never try to get stitches either, but this one was the lip is special, you know?
By the time I got to the emergency place, whatever, it was too late to get stitches.
Yeah.
So I just have a big swollen lip thing that's still there.
Life is movement and competition. Even though most blue pill Christian dudes like to watch or participate in competitive sports, they're animals too, even though they think they're evolved, pious beings.
Yep. That's what I get with a lot of people sometimes when I start talking to them about biology and how you have some pre-programmed behaviors in you. They're all like, "Oh no, well I'm not an animal. Well I'm so sophisticated above any animal shit." I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, people get really uppity about it.
You
They're
still
like
shit,
they get offended.
you still eat, you still fart. Like you're still an animal. I'm not an animal. Like, yeah, you are. You're an animal.
Well, again, not to bash. I mean, fuck it. Actually, I'm bashing Christianity pretty hard today. When you have a belief system that the Earth is only 6,000 years old and that we just appeared here, you don't believe in evolution. Whereas with my whole thing is like, no.
Well, I'll talk to a person who fully believes in evolution, but at the same time, like I don't see how a person is like a blank slate person and believes in evolution at the same time. I don't see how that's...
I think it's hard. I think it's hard as a conscious individual. Like it's something that you have to evolve your consciousness to be able to see that level of stuff, right? When you're kind of a lower level consciousness, you just believe in you, like you just exist, and it's like, oh well, I just exist, so there's no way that I could have evolved, right? There's no way that this is me and this is how it's always been, and it's like no, this is like fuck. We actually have no clue. We have no clue the evolution of consciousness. Like think about it from that perspective. Like the first thought form had to be like
did we have
emotion or a feeling.
We have full consciousness before we had our intelligence?
Yeah, right. Well, you have to have consciousness before intelligence, but what level was it?
Were we like monkeys but fully conscious?
Well, I'm thinking of consciousness from a just strictly consciousness level, like no physical, like no material whatsoever. That's what I'm thinking of. Is just like a plane of existence of just thought form. Creepy, right? Creepy to think about. Like nothing exists except for just thought. And then consciousness evolved to being like, yo, we need to experience more consciousness. So how do we do this? Well, we split. And how do we do that? Oh, well, we create fucking more consciousness over here and over here and over here. And then we create fucking material objects. right? So that we can interact with our other forms of consciousness. And then, we need, like, think about that shit. That's what I think God is, to be honest with you, is just the original thought form, the original consciousness. Sorry, I had to post this one up here.
God is real. He's better. I think people's belief in God is rooted in their definition of God.
Jose Torres comes in here and says evolution is man-made fiction. I'd like for you to provide some kind of theory to that. We are genetic hybrids. Okay, so wouldn't that include some kind of evolution for us to get there?
Alien monsters.
He says we didn't evolve from an amoeba to a frog to a monkey to a human. Yes, we did. I think so.
It's highly probable.
It's highly probable. I mean, do we know exactly that?
Other probabilities, but it's highly probable. It's
highly probable.
It's over half a billion years. Half a billion's a long time.
I agree.
Humans,
and think
upright walking humans with our intelligence is like under 100,000, probably.
I think it's 150. I think so, but you could be right. Could be under 100. I don't know, but I think it's highly probable. People don't realize how fast evolution happens too. I mean, just go and listen to Darwin's stuff. He spent like 3 years in the Galapagos studying these finch, and he saw the way that their genetics and their species evolved with these beaks over 3 seasons. Fucking crazy, right? Life wants to survive, so life will adapt. And that's kind of what happens, right? Even the Bible, God gets jealous and angry, also laughs at people, turns his back and says, I told you so. Does that sound like perfection or every emotional guy you've ever met? Exactly. Why did the frogs stay frogs? Well, because they probably served a purpose. Anytime you build something, right? Anytime you're building a foundation or you're building a tier, think of it like a pyramid.
Some people,
in order to move up to the next level, you don't fucking delete the lower level, do you? Right? No, you don't. You keep it there because it's a stop loss. It's a stop loss for evolution. You always go back
to a higher level.
Exactly. Come on, buddy.
Hey, I gotta start wrapping up here.
Wrap up.
Yeah, you gotta get going. Yeah.
Anyway, with that said, guys, John already told you what he's doing today. He's got his book coming out. If you want to find anything for John Fitch, you can just go to johnfitch.net. I went to johnfitch.net earlier this week, and I got some supplements based off of his recommendation. So,
boom.
You know,
got it all.
Kind of a big deal. Anyway, as far as I'm concerned,
big time.
I have a pretty cool announcement. Did you watch Strawman? No, I will watch Strawman later though. Internet was down yesterday for some. Oh yeah, my fucking neighbor blew the fucking whatever, putting up Christmas lights. Anyway, I'll watch Strawman. As far as I'm concerned, I just broke a record the other day. 4 new girls in one day, based off of firing Tinder back up, and I'm proud of it, to be honest with you, because I'm at a level now of my dating mastery, and that I'm trying to share with you guys. So with that said, in the link below, I will provide the link to my online dating mastery course. I literally within 24 hours had over 120 matches. Within a 36-hour time frame, I had over 15 to 20 numbers. That's how I was able to kind of turn around this stuff. There's a lot of guys out there that are not skilled in the department of dating. And in my online dating mastery course, I give you from the get-go of the mindset to get when getting into dating, how to set up your profiles, how to set up your pictures, what to say, how to interact with women on online dating and get them onto texting and then onto dates and then to go where you want to go with that. So highly, highly recommend that you purchase my online dating mastery course if you're having any issues in your dating life. Of course, as always, you guys can purchase my book on Amazon. It's Live Your Best Life in 30 Days. But what I'd really like for all you guys to do instead is go to the WarTribe.com, join and become a member. That's where you can have one-on-one interactions with myself and other men in the forum, and we could have these discussions about what's going wrong in your dating life, what's going on with your physical life, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and relational. All right. So go to the WarTribe.com, become a member. and start having an interaction with men on that forum today. With that said, John and Fitch and I are going to be back here live on Wednesday at 3 p.m. All right.
Okay.
So until then, guys, actually, stop by the channel again at 5 p.m. today for War Story Sunday. With that said, see you later.
Later.